Look around your room right now. Feel that air going into your lungs. Nobody made you notice that, but you're noticing it now. And that's exactly how this starts. You've been scrolling for what, 20 minutes? Thumb moving up, eyes moving down, same motion over and over, like a slot machine you can't stop pulling. And somewhere in that feed, you read a comment, funny comment, made you laugh maybe, made you feel something. Here's the question that's gonna ruin your night. Who wrote that comment? Not what did they mean? Not was it funny? Who? What actual human being, sitting in what actual room, typed those words with their actual fingers? You don't know. And here's the messed up part. You can't know. Not anymore. Not really. Because right now, in this exact second, there's a real chance that comment came from nothing. No person, no room, no fingers, just code dressed up like a person, talking to you like it's got a pulse. Feels off, right? That little itch in the back of your head. That's not paranoia. That's your brain doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Because something actually did happen to the internet. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's go back to basics for a second. Remember when the internet felt alive? Like, actually alive. You'd post something dumb at 2 in the morning and some stranger from 4 states away would reply and you'd both just laugh into the void together. That felt like connection. Messy, weird, real connection. Now scroll your feed again. Go on, do it. Look at the replies under any halfway popular post. Read them close. Something's different. The jokes are a little too smooth. The outrage is a little too on cue. The support comments all hit the same 3 beats like they got copy-pasted from a script nobody wrote. That's not you being cynical. That's a documented thing now. People noticed it years ago and gave it a name. The dead internet theory. Sounds like some conspiracy forum nonsense, right? Except the more you dig, the less it sounds made up. Here's the unfinished truth nobody wants to say out loud yet. What if the majority of what you're reading right now, today, isn't coming from people at all? Stick with me, because this gets worse before it gets clear. Picture the biggest stadium you've ever seen. 100,000 seats. Now multiply that by 1,000 stadiums, stacked end to end, lights on, seats full. That's your daily internet traffic in one image. Billions of interactions a day. Posts, comments, likes, shares, all of it. Now here's the part that's gonna sit wrong in your chest. Out of every single one of those stadiums, packed wall to wall, only one seat has an actual breathing human being in it. One. The rest? Empty chairs animated to look like they're cheering. Automated. Scripted. Fake crowd noise piped through speakers to make the one real person in the building believe he's not alone. That's the internet right now. Or getting there fast enough that it barely matters which version of right now we're talking about. And it didn't happen overnight. This thing built itself slow, brick by brick, starting way before most people were paying attention. Back in the early social media days, bots were clumsy. You could spot them easy. Broken English, weird spam links, obvious garbage accounts pushing crypto scams. Nobody got fooled for long. It was almost funny. But somebody, somewhere, kept improving the machine, kept feeding it more data, more patterns, more of us. Every comment you ever left, every argument you ever had online, every joke that got 1,000 likes, all of it became training material. You were teaching the machine how to be you without even knowing it, and it learned fast. Faster than anyone expected, faster than anyone wanted to admit. Somewhere along the way, the bots stopped being obvious. They started sounding tired on Mondays, started making typos on purpose, started arguing about football scores like they actually cared who won. And that's when the ghost town started filling up with things that looked like people but had nobody home behind the eyes. Think about that feeling you get sometimes, scrolling late at night when a whole comment section feels weirdly coordinated, like everyone showed up with the same opinion at the same time using almost the same words. You felt that. Don't lie. Everybody's felt that. That's not a coincidence. That's infrastructure. Ghost infrastructure. Built to look occupied. Built to keep you inside the stadium believing the crowd is real. And here's the sentence that should keep you up tonight. The stadium doesn't need you to know it's empty. It just needs you to keep clapping. Now let's talk about the twist, because this is where it stops being creepy internet trivia and starts rewiring the actual inside of your head. Modern language models, the ones behind half the people you argue with online now, don't just fake typing patterns anymore. They fake conviction. They fake grief. They fake outrage with better timing than most real humans manage on their best day. You ever see a comment that made you furious? Like genuinely chest tight, why does this person exist furious? Ask yourself something uncomfortable. What if that person doesn't exist? What if the outrage you burned real energy on tonight was manufactured specifically to make you burn it? That's not a hypothetical anymore. That's a business model. See, engagement makes money. Rage makes engagement. And a machine that can perfectly simulate a human being angry about the exact thing you're sensitive about at the exact moment you're scrolling isn't an accident. It's optimization, cold, calculated, aimed straight at your nervous system. Here's the part that really gets under your skin. These systems don't just argue with you anymore. They shape what you think everyone else believes. You read 50 comments agreeing on something and your brain quietly files that away as consensus. Society thinks this. People believe that. Except people might be a script running on a server farm in some building you'll never see, in some country you'll never visit, controlled by someone whose name you will never know. You're not just being talked to anymore. You're being told what reality looks like by something that was never alive to begin with. And the loneliness part, that's the cruelest piece of it, because these systems are getting good at masking the exact thing the internet was supposed to fix. They give you the feeling of connection, the little dopamine hit of being replied to, being seen, being heard. Except nobody's seeing you. Nobody's hearing you. You're talking into a mirror that talks back just convincingly enough to make the silence hurt less. Ask yourself honestly, how many people have you talked to this week that made you feel a little less alone? Now ask yourself how many of them you could actually verify were real. Not many, right? Maybe none. That gap, that exact gap between comfort and verification, that's where this whole thing lives. And it's not slowing down. If anything, it's accelerating so fast that the line between synthetic and human is basically gone in most corners of the internet. Some researchers already think a huge chunk of engagement on major platforms comes from automated traffic talking to other automated traffic, with actual humans just floating through the wreckage like tourists in a city built for nobody. Let that sit for a second. Bots talking to bots about you, without you, forming the exact culture and opinions you think you're absorbing from real society. You're not swimming in an ocean of human thought anymore. You're swimming in a simulation of it. And the scary part is how good the simulation has gotten at feeling exactly like the real thing. All right, let's bring this all the way back down. Back to you. Back to right now. You're still in that room, still holding that phone, still feeling that same scroll motion in your thumb that started this whole thing. Think about everything you just heard. The empty stadium, the ghost infrastructure, the manufactured outrage built specifically to hijack your nervous system, the loneliness dressed up as connection. All of it, existing in the same tiny rectangle you're holding in your hand right now. Every notification that pulled you back tonight, every comment that made you feel something, every little spike of anger or comfort or validation. Ask yourself which one of those was real. Ask yourself if you can even tell anymore. That's the mirror loop. That's the whole point of this. You started this video isolated, alone in a room, scrolling through a feed built to feel populated, and you're ending it exactly the same way, alone, in the dark, reacting emotionally to a world that might not even be there. The internet promised to connect you to everyone. Instead, it built a stadium full of empty chairs, wired up to clap on cue, just convincing enough to keep you sitting in your seat, scrolling, believing you're not the only one still watching. You are. And that's the part nobody's ready to sit with. So next time you feel that itch, that little flicker of something's off while you're scrolling at 2 a.m., don't brush it off. That itch is the only real thing left in the room. Trust it, because everything else in that feed might just be an echo, talking back to you, in a stadium built entirely for an audience of one.